So we're on page Gimel.
Yeah.
Sorry. Reish Pei, yeah, I figured that out. Reish Pei Gimel. התנאים לאמירת דברי מוסר. התנאים לאמירת דברי מוסר, the conditions for giving musar. Okay, now remember the there are a lot of words that the way they're used, they sort of have one meaning but the actual meaning of the word is different. Okay, so in other words, not always, but so for example, when people say I'm going to give somebody musar, what they really mean is I'm going to rebuke them, which then is the word for rebuke in the Torah is techach, like we learned, right? Musar is guidance, like sur meirav asei tov, turn away from the bad and do good, means so musar is a noun. It's teachings that are teaching you the right way. Understand? Shema b'ni musar avicha. Listen, my son, to the musar of your father. Right? That's musar. Techach is when somebody does something wrong, so then, and you rebuke them. So a lot of people use the word musar like, when I go and give them musar, it's like they really mean they mean that you're going to be rebuking them. But musar is not rebuke. Musar is to show the right way. So, the conditions for saying musar. So we'll see how he's using it over here. So there's a number of conditions for giving musar. Okay, so yesterday we said we learned that like some of the people who give musar, like they say, but look at the Nevi'im, the prophets are giving musar all the time, right? So and the prophets are warning people and scaring people and so on. So he says that first of all, in the latter generations, it's become clear and widely accepted that the approach of Hasidus is the more correct approach. In other words, show the people the good in the mitzvahs that they do, etc., etc. Draw them rather than give them words of rebuke. And besides, not besides, but especially since in these generations, everybody's reading the category of a tinik shenishba, a child that's been captured and raised in a foreign environment, even if you're going to give him Musar, like he's not going to understand that. He's not going to understand why he should follow what you tell him. So I think I told you once that a number of years ago, Rabbi Riskin has this organization, I forgot what it's called, but basically it trains rabbis and chazonim who want to go and who are willing to go and work in Chutz La'aretz. You can get smicha there, you can learn chazonis or whatever it is. And so one day they had a number of years ago, like a good 15 years ago, they had a convention for all their people who are working in Chutz La'aretz. And the teachers came and rabbis came, so. And they had a panel discussion on, quote unquote, different approaches in Kiruv. Now, you should know that whenever somebody came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and he would say that he works in Kiruv Rechoikim, the Lubavitcher Rebbe would say there is no such thing as a Jew that is far away. You want to be Mikarev somebody, be Mikarev them, but don't say that they're Rechoikim, don't say that they're far away. Every Jew is close to God. It's like Reb Shlomo used to say, maybe not every Jew is equally Kadosh, but every Jew is Kodesh Kadoshim. Every Jew has that etzem, that neshama inside, what they call in Yiddish, das Pintale Yid, that nekuda of your neshama, right? So every Yid has that. So no Yid is really far. It might be more concealed in somebody and so on, but not far. In other words, let's say, for example, I say, okay, which hand do I have a coin in it, right? It might be concealed from you, but it's not far. It's corrupt, yeah. So now he's saying, okay, if you need to give Musar, here are the terms, the conditions. So the first one that he mentions is Ahavas Yisrael. Ahavat Yisrael, love of your fellow Jew. K'tiv Shma B'ni Musar Avicha. Right, it's a pasuk in Mishlei. Listen, my son, to the Musar of your father. Now, Musar, some people translate, by the way, as ethics or ethical teachings, teaching of ethics. So it says, listen to the teachings of your father, the guiding teachings of your father. Also, it says, V'yol havo, one who loves his son, shacharo musar. He provides him, he teaches him early on musar. Divrei musar tzrichim liyot kemo shel av livno. Words of musar, words of guidance and ethics and so on, teaching somebody what's the right thing and what's not the right thing, that has to be done like a father teaching his son. Sheha'av ohev be'etzem, the father basically loves his son, right? Tamid, השאב אוהב בעצם תמיד את בנו. Something unusual there grammatically. Father always loves his son. וגם כשמוכיחו בדברים, now over here is already talking about rebuke, וגם כשמוכיחו בדברים, ולפעמים גם הענישו, and when the father rebukes his son and even sometimes punishes him, ניכרת בשעת מעשה עצמו, you can see even while that's happening, it's obvious that what? That אהבתו האמיתית לבנו. You can see that the father really loves his son. ואין ארוך לאהבת עצמו, and and he loves them maybe even more than himself. Kanireh b'muchash, like we see clearly that that's the case, right? If let's say if a father is rebuking his son and gives him a punishment, and then right there, like the son just sort of like hurts himself, because he falls. What's the father going to do? He's going to say, "Oh well, I'm in the middle of rebuking you, in the middle of punishing you right now, so I'm not even going to pick you up." No, he's going to pick him up right away. He loves his son. Right. והדרך זה כנודע להציווי הוכיח תוכיח את עמיתך, and same goes for the commandment of rebuke your fellow, שדברי ההוכחה צריכים להיות חדורים באהבת ישראל. The words of rebuke have to be fully penetrated, fully penetrated with love of your fellow Jew. כדברי רבי עקיבא, שכולו אליבא דרבי עקיבא. Like Rabbi Akiva says, "Shevi'afta l're'echa kamocha." So Rabbi Akiva says, "Kamocha, mamash, like yourself." Ze klal gadol b'Torah. Rabbi Akiva says that "Ve'afta l're'echa kamocha" is a klal gadol. So what does that mean? That means to say that every mitzvah in the Torah is connected, has to be connected with the Havas Yisrael. Even something that's between you and God, it's also connected with the Kadosh Baruch Hu.
How would that be
with the Havas Yisrael? How is that possible?
For instance, kashrus, how is that connected to Havas Yisrael?
Or putting on tefillin, how's that connected to Havas Yisrael, right? So one explanation is, I think Dr. Rebbe gives us somewhat of a different explanation. I have to look it up. But one explanation that I remember is as follows. Let's say there's a parable. You're going on a cruise. It's getting hot? No, I'm just asking. You're going on a cruise and you rent yourself a cabin on the cruise, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy next door, in his cabin, starts drilling a hole in the bottom of the boat. And the water starts to come in. And he starts telling him, "What do you think you're doing? You're going to drown us all." So he says, "What do you mean I'm going to drown you all? I rented this room. It's my room. I do what I want over here." Right? So obviously, this example is not the greatest example, right? But you see that what you do in your private domain affects everybody. Right?
Even though with Hashem.
Even so think of it this way. Imagine that a bunch of people are stuck in a room. There's a door, but in order for the door to be opened up, everyone in the room has to be at their maximum performance. Okay, at their maximum strength. So if somebody's not going to bother making himself strong, right? Not only will he not be able to get out, nobody's going to be able to get out, right? So when you're doing a mitzvah, you're doing the mitzvah for the benefit of all of Israel. Instead, you're contributing to the benefit of the world. You're contributing to the benefit of all of Am Yisrael. Okay, and in fact, it says in the L'Shem Yichud that we should do it all L'Shem Kol Yisrael, in the name of all of Israel. It's like the sons of Rebbe one day walked into his Bais Medrash, the sons of Rav, and he sees a guy that's like really, really happy. He says, "What are you so happy about?" He says, I just learned 10 blocks Gemara. So the Sanzer says to him, if you did it b'shem kol Yisrael, if you did it in the name of all of Israel, so then I had a part in it too, and I'm also happy. But if you didn't do it in the name of all of Israel, I'm not interested. Okay? So when you're doing a mitzvah and you're doing it b'shem kol Yisrael, you're doing it that this mitzvah should bring about benefit for all of Israel. So that's okay. So even if it's a mitzvah ben Adam Hashem, between man and God, it affects everybody.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So we're in that paragraph, in the second paragraph, in the fourth line in the middle. V'yitera mizeh, and even more than just saying that it's a klal gadol b'Torah, zohi kol haTorah kula v'idach perusha. Hillel says that this is the whole Torah, and the rest of the Torah is just an explanation on the Ahavas Yisrael. ועד לאהבה שהיא בדוגמת אהבת הקדוש ברוך הוא לכל אחד ואחד מישראל. Likewise, in other words, our love has to be like Hashem. Our love for each other has to be the same way that Hashem loves each one of us. כפתגם הידוע שאוהב מה שאהוב שהאהוב אוהב. He loves that which the one he loves loves. In other words, Shaya's wife takes him to a museum, and Shaya, like, he's not so much a museum guy. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe it's a different Shaya. Okay.
My wife would take me to the museum. She had the membership first.
Yeah. So he'll go. Why is he going to go? Because his wife loves to go to the museum, and he loves his wife. Right. So even if you don't love somebody, one of your brothers and sisters, the fact that Hashem loves this person, and if you love Hashem, you will also love this person, right?
That's why we have to Recha comes in.
Yeah.
God loves all the people.
Hashem. Now, the test of this is שכשהשומע דברי ההוכחה מרגיש שהדברים נאמרים אך ורק מתוך אהבה. And the test of this is, meaning to say, the proof of this is that when the person that you're giving musr to them, the person to whom you are giving musr, he feels the difference between whether you're speaking out of love or you're just wanting to rebuke him. Okay, so that's the first condition that he mentions. Then he says, Anava v'shiflut. Humility and, I don't know what the word for shiflut would be other than humility also. I guess I have to look up synonyms. He says, Tnai ikari b'divrei hochacha שמוכיח לא יסתרר על הציבור לראות עצמו גדול מכל העם. One is going to go and give rebuke in his community should not have any sense of superiority over the rest of the people. Right? That's one of the big dangers of Muslim, right? It's like, why are you giving me Musr? Because in this particular thing that you're giving me Musr, you think that you are better than me.
Self-righteous.
So it's if you're going to give Musr, make sure that you don't think that you're better than anyone that you're talking to. He needs to make himself suitable to the community. Not suitable, but rather he needs to make himself equal to the community. In other words, let's say, let's say you're going to take a job being a teacher in a non-observant school, okay, teaching Torah. So you might easily think, oh, I'm better than they are. Why? Because I'm shomer Torah mitzvahs. I keep Torah and I keep mitzvahs. So and they don't. So then I'm better than them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. So maybe you are more observant, but don't think that you're better than them, right? So you have to make yourself equal to the community. And let's say, for example, the community has a problem, and there's some issues that need to be dealt with. And you were invited to give a talk about this. Or you're the one who calls the meeting together because you're concerned about what's going on, right? Well, if you're part of that community, it means that it's also your problem, right? In other words, that it's not as if you are above them and that you would never get involved in doing something so dastardly or whatever.
Can I say something?
Let me just finish the paragraph, okay? So, Klomar, page Reish Pei Dalet. Klomar, that means to say, Shemista'er v'ko'ev. You hear what the Rebbe is saying? He's saying that being part of the community means that you and there's something that you want to fix. Question is, does it hurt you? Does it hurt you? When you see somebody driving on Shabbos, and you want to go and tell them not to do that, right? Well, does it hurt you that they're driving on Shabbos, right? So what he's saying over here is like this: that the community is on a low level, right? And maybe people are doing things that you yourself are careful about, right? But you're part of this community. You're no different from anybody else as far as that's concerned, right? Does it bother you as a member of the community? Does it hurt you that these things are happening? Do you feel it? Okay? But if you don't feel it, let's say somebody's, got a swollen finger, chas v'sholem. Do you feel their pain? Right? So somebody's not observing Shabbos, somebody's not observing kashrus, and so on. Do you feel the pain of the community? In other words, is it, or do you feel like, no, I'm okay, I just need to fix them up? It's a subtle difference. I'm okay with it, right? I'm okay, but they're not, right? So that means that you don't have anava. it means that you don't have the trait of humility. Maybe you act with humility, but doesn't mean that you already are humble. Okay? And the way to feel that empathy, to feel the pain of what's going on, is that you have to make yourself very small and very humble, to realize that you're not any better than anybody else. It's your problem too, right? And that's what's motivating you to give Musr. But you're also giving the Musr to yourself. So, שמצטער, again, the top line. כלומר, שמצטער וכואב לו מצבם הירוד של הקהל שמוכיחם. He ממש feels pain from the lowly state of this person or this community that he's rebuking. שניכר ומדגש בדבריו שנאמרים אך ורק מתוך כמיהת לב. When you're going to give the rebuke, it should be obvious that it should be obvious that where am I? Yeah. It should be obvious to people that you're giving Musr because it's hurting you and because you've subjugated yourself to the community as well. וכולל באמת עצמו, את עצמו וגם עם הקהל בדברי ההוכחה. He's including himself in the words of rebuke to be together with all his to be together with all his people. Let me give an example. You know that there's a certain amount of crime in just about every community, right?
Yeah.
And you'd rather that there isn't crime, right? You know that a certain number of children are being abused, right? And it happens that you know somebody who's doing that, right? And you go and you give him Musr. Okay. Are you giving a Musr because you feel the pain of what's going on? Or are you just giving a Musr because you know what's right and you're going to teach this person what's right and what's wrong? Okay. So that's a function of anava, it's a function of humility. You understand? If you have humility, then you're with the people who are being abused and you're with the people who are abusing also. Okay? לתקן את עצמו בעניינים דוגמתם. And he includes himself in the Musr, realizing that he's got similar problems, and the Musr the Musr talk that he's giving is meant also for himself. Bidakut al kol panim, at the very least, in a very subtle way, you've got the same problem. הלכת כמה וכמה כשיש מקום לומר טול קורה מבין עיניך. And all the more so, sorry, I'm a little bit slow today. It's the sleep and the heat. Okay.
To correct.
So, Tul Koreh Mi Bein Einecha. This is a statement in the Gemara that remember we talked about it, that does anybody know how to give Musr today? Does anybody know how to receive Musr? Right? The Gemara says, you go over to somebody and you say, remove this objectionable thing from your life. He's likely to respond and say, oh yeah? And what about that beam between your eyes? In other words, why are you giving me Muslim? You're not so perfect yourself. You're not so perfect yourself. So this is Gemara and Baba Basra. Ted Vav. Let's see. A little bit. We looked it up once.
What does tool mean?
Take.
Tool means take?
Take, yeah.
Ukra is the beam.
Yeah.
Turn the page.
Yeah.
Very straight down.
All right.
It's a middle. It's a chemical.
Right.
Line of the way two.
So some people don't know how to give Musr, and some people don't know how to take Musr. But this particular thing, take the beam from between your eyes. In other words, if you're going to go give Musr to somebody, if you've got your own faults, why are you giving Musr to other people? Right?
First correct yourself and then you can correct others.
That's right. But when the people hear in your giving Musr, when they hear that you're giving yourself rebuke as well, so then that will have an effect. That will have an effect on the people, because they'll see that you're not just out to rebuke them, that you're actually rebuking yourself also, that you mean yourself just as well. But if it's like, oh, I'm okay, but you guys need to be straightened out, people are not going to listen. What kind of nonsense is this? Maybe what the guy is saying is true, but what, you're better than us? You've also got problems. What are you doing rebuking us, right? So you need to have this anava, you have to have this humility for like we explained, in two aspects. One is that to be one with the people, to be equal with the people, right? And if you're equal with the people, if something is hurting you, if I'm equal with you, right, then it's hurting me too. But if it's not, right, if I have this anava, then it's hurting me too. Shaya, what did you want to say? Remember?
What I want to say is that what this is asking is very, very difficult to do. I can say that from personal experience. So I know that when I first started keeping mitzvot, I was tended to be think that I was better than others. I know for myself.
Yeah.
And even with close people,
including
family.
Yes, of course.
And
that's the normal human condition.
It's very difficult to do that, to not think you're better than someone else. When you see someone else doing something, and that you're not doing.
Right.
You think you know the right way. You think,
Mm-hmm.
I know Torah mitzvot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the only right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Hashem said. So it's very
Or
hard.
Bichlal, people like to think that people are always ranking themselves in relation to others. I got more money than you. I got a bigger house than you. I dress better than you. People are always doing that. They're thinking if it's not one thing, it's another thing. If it's not something material, they're going to say, "Oh, I'm smarter than you. I behave better than you. I have better jokes than you do." Whatever it is, I'm a Democrat, and you're
More
just
nothing than you.
That's because
I'm a bigger honor than you are, right?
Golda Meir used to say, "Don't be so humble. You're not that great."
This is also true. This is also true. It sounds humorous, but it's also true. I heard a story that once a Yid came to the Piano Rebbe, and he was telling the Piano Rebbe, I really have a hard time being humble. So the Piano Rebbe said to him, "Okay, go sit outside in the waiting room, and I'll call you back soon." Anyway, another chassid goes in to see the Rebbe, and he was saying he has a problem with his gaiva, with his haughtiness. So the chassid comes out and he comes over to him and he says, "The Rebbe told me to ask you the following question. I'm having some problem in business. Can you give me some advice?" He says, "What do I know about? I can't give you advice." A few minutes later, another chassid comes out and he says, "The Rebbe told me to ask you, I need a loan. Can you give me a loan?" He says, "No, I don't have enough money to give a loan." A few minutes later, another chassid comes out. He says, "The Rebbe told me to ask you this question. I'm having difficulty understanding this concept in the Gemara or the Mishnah or the Zohar or whatever it is." So he says, "I don't know." So a few minutes later, the Rebbe calls this man back in. So he says, "So, were you able to give that fellow business advice?" "No." "Were you able to give that fellow a loan?" "No." "Were you able to answer his question in learning?" "No." So he says, "Well, what do you have to show off about?" But the truth is that Gaiva doesn't need a reason. If somebody who's about Gaiva is about Gaiva, whether he has a reason or whether he doesn't have a reason, right? And the story about the rabbi comes to shul Friday night, and before services begin, and he goes up to the Aron Kodesh. He stands in front of the Aron Kodesh. He opens it up, and he says, "God, please, it's just humble me, the rabbi, but my wife needs a healing, and I'm really davening that you should heal her. I know it's just humble me, like who am I to ask for anything? And also I want you to please have some influence on my balabatim that I should get a raise." He says, he gives a kiss to the parechis and goes back to his seat. A couple of minutes later, the chassan comes in and he stands in front of the Aron Kodesh. And he says, "God, Mamish, we really need a raise in the house and in my salary. And I know it's just me, the humble chassan, And anyway, he says it's tefillah and goes to his seat next to the rabbi. And then the janitor comes in. He goes over to the Aron Kodesh. He says, "God, it's just me, the humble janitor, And the rabbi says to the chassan, "Look who thinks he's humble."
I've learned many things in this issue.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that has had a strong influence on me is one time, Reb Shlomo, A person should have 2 slips of paper in his pocket. One, Bishvili Ha'olam Ha'ifam.
Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. Yeah.
The other one, okay. Ani Offer
Anechi Offer Ve'efer. Yeah.
Many people only have 1 piece of paper.
Right. You need both.
And that's where the gaiva comes in.
Right. Either that or false humility too. Because humility, if something needs to be done, and you say, who am I to do this? Right? I'm not great enough for this, and so on. But you're the only one that's capable of doing it. Whether you're going to do a good job or a bad job, it just happens to be that you're the one that knows about the issue, and you're the one who's capable of doing something. So if you say, oh, I'm just too humble to do this, I'm just nobody, I'm like, who am I? So that's false humility, because you're not, you're just, who am I to sit and learn, in the yeshiva? Who am I to deal with this issue of charity? Who am I to, etc.? Well, that's false humility. You're not letting yourself achieve and do what you need to do, right?
When I was in my late teens, my father was a very big Baal Tzedakah. And in my day, Mishlochim used to come from Eretz Israel, and then some of them...
They would stay by you.
No, they wouldn't stay by me, but it was a small place. And many of them would park the limousine around the corner. And I one time said to my father, what do you... And he would come...
Asking for money.
2-3 times, twice a week. And I one time asked my father, what are you giving them money for? They put it in their pocket anyway. My father said 2 things. Do you want to make a living that way? And secondly, when a Mishulach comes with his hand out, pretend that you're an apikoros. Pretend that you don't believe in God. He comes with his hand out, you give him. Don't say,
God will help you. Nice.
It's a pity I didn't appreciate him when he was alive.
Yeah. There's a story that I think was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Volozhiner Yeshiva. Who was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Volozhiner Yeshiva? Do you remember? Chaim of Volozhin. Yeah. So he had the yeshiva had a collector who would go around and collect money, and this collector back in those days he had a route. He would walk from one town to another town. He'd be gone for a couple of months at a time, and he had various people in various towns that he would go and collect money from. I'm not boring you, I hope.
What?
I said, I hope I'm not boring you with the stories. So the collector is getting older, and somebody says to him one day, Rabbi Yankel, if you get yourself a horse and a wagon, it'll be easier for you, and you'll also be able to see more people. So the poor collector never thought of that for some reason or other, because he thought like spending money on a horse and a buggy and so on. But anyway, he was getting weaker. He decided, okay, it's time to do that. And in one particular town, he comes to this address of this yid who always gives him money for the yeshiva. And the guy looks out the window and he sees that Rabbi Yankel came with a horse and a wagon, with a horse and a buggy. So he comes in, and the Balabai says to him, listen, I want my money to go for feeding students who are learning Torah. I don't want my money to go for feeding the horse. And besides which, I'm going to be in Volozhin in a couple of weeks. I'll bring the money myself to the Rosh Yeshiva. So a couple of weeks later, Rabbi Yankel, the collector, comes back to Voloshin, and whenever he would come back, he would give a complete report to the Rosh Yeshiva, whom he saw, how much each person contributed, etc. And the Rosh Yeshiva says, well, what about this Balabos there that every year gives a donation? Did you not go to him? So he says, yeah, I was there by him also. But his answer was he wants his money to go to support the students, not to feed a horse. And besides, he's coming in a couple of weeks. He's going to bring his donation himself. So when this Balabos came, and he comes to the Rosh Yeshiva, and he used to give a nice donation, the Rosh Yeshiva says, first of all, I'm not taking your money. You go and you give it to the collector, to Rabbi Yankel. Rabbi Yankel will deliver it. And secondly, when the Yidden were contributing all the various contributions for the building of the Mishkan, so some of the gold ended up in the menorah, some of the gold ended up just as a little utensil, right? And some things ended up as a hook on the wall. So how was it decided which gold is going where, which copper is going where, and so on? So he says, Bitzalel he had like a ruach elikim in him. He had like a certain kind of Holy Spirit in him, holy sensitivity. And when he picked up something that was contributed, he sort of just had a sense, oh, I'm going to use this for this. I'm going to use this for the menorah. I'm going to use this for just making a hook. Okay. So what made him? So the Rosh Yeshiva says, if a Yid gave his contribution with all his heart, then it ended up in the menorah. If it wasn't with all his heart, it ended up also being used, but it was a hook. So he says, if you're going to give your tzedakah with all your heart, your money will end up feeding the students who are sitting and learning. And if not, it'll feed the horse.
Good word.
Right? And that's a question of another also. It's a question of humility and being humble. Let's do another paragraph. Okay? So, B'frat al pi ha'mevuar b'sfarim, and especially as it's explained in this forum, shekasher adam ro'eh ra b'zulato, right, we've spoken about this already, that when a person sees something negative in another person, Ram Reish Pei Dalet. Harei Zeh Hei Zayin stands for Harei Zeh. You're memorizing the Rosh Yeshivas, yeah? Good. It's important to learn Rosh Yeshivas because if you don't know Rosh Yeshivas, today in a lot of forms that are being written today, they don't use Rosh Yeshivas, so they have a luach of Rosh Yeshivas. But you need to know Rosh Yeshivas. There are forms in the olden days, like printing was an expensive deal, and they would write the form with huge amounts of Rosh Yeshivas. It saves on ink. It saves on paper. It wasn't cheap to print a sefer. And today, you have WhatsApp and you have SMS and you have telephones and cell phones. And think about how many phone calls you receive and make in comparison. I don't know if you're to when you had a phone that was connected to a socket in the wall.
Oh, and you had a party line too.
And you had a party line also, right? You know what a party line is? It was one number, and like maybe the whole block would use that one number, And whenever you'd be on the phone, and somebody else would pick up the phone, and they would hear your conversation and so on.
I used to like listening to people's conversations.
Yeah.
And when my mother found out about it, one of the few times she gave me a punch.
Yeah.
course, I was a young boy.
Yeah. So think about it.
Mm-hmm.
How many of these conversations that we have nowadays, and how many of these messages that we give each other, how many of them are really necessary? Right? It's just because it's so easily available, right? We end up being so now we're even a bigger yenta than we used to be, you know. Actually, one of our students, Pesach Stadlin, he took off the WhatsApp from his telephone. He disconnected it because he says he wants to sit and he wants to learn, and every 2 minutes there's a WhatsApp, you know, and it was mamish interfering with his being able to sit and learn. So now, if you want to send him a message, you have to send him an email, and when he looks at the email, when he wants to look at the emails, you know. But if you have the phone in your hand or on the table, right? Yeah. So you got to know, you got to discipline yourself, right?
See,
so he's saying,
the Yetzer Hara comes in different forms.
Yeah. With technology, without technology, everything, yeah. So, רווחת על פי המובא בספרים שכאשר אדם רואה רע בזולתו, הרי זה הוכחה שדוגמת אותו הרע נמצא בו בעצמו. So it says that in many forms that when you see something negative in somebody else, that's proof that you have the same problem. לדוגמת אדם המביט בראי, it's like looking in a mirror, you're seeing yourself. שאם פניו נקיים, if your face is clean, אינו רואה במראה שום דופי, then you don't see anything wrong in the mirror. ואם הוא רואה לכלוך בכתם בראי, but if you see some dirt or a stain in the mirror, אין זה אלא משום שפניו מטונפים. You see it because your face is dirty. By looking at another person is like looking in a mirror. If you see some dirt and the other person, it's because you're dirty. He's just your mirror. הרי בוודאי שלפני שמוכיח את זולתו, so then surely before you go to rebuke another person, צריך לתקן את עצמו, first fix yourself. כציווי חז"ל, like the rabbis say, קשוט עצמך, decorate yourself, make yourself beautiful, ואחר כך קשוט אחרים, and then afterwards beautify the other person. Right? Now, why did I bring in the thing about the cell phones to the WhatsApp? I'm not sure why I mentioned that.
Because you mentioned Pesach.
Yeah,
he disconnected it because he didn't want to be.
Yeah. But why did I mention? Yeah. But why did I mention that?
Papers, Rashi Tevis.
Rashi Tevis.
Yes, that's right.
Right, I was saying that, learn the Rashi Tevis, right? And then that got me talking about printing, and then that got me talking about, right? That is everything, that words are so much, where people don't treat words as carefully as they did,
It's kind of a form of environmentalism.
Yeah,
not wasting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't waste your words. It's like, like the Chafetz Chaim said that before you're born, it's decided how many words you're going to speak in your lifetime, and how many minutes you're going to live. Right?
Who says this?
Chafetz Chaim gives that as a parable. So if you know that, if you would know that you've got a bank of so many and so many words, right? And that every time that you say something, it's like taking money out of your bank account, taking money out of your word account. Well, then you're going to be more careful, especially if you don't even know how much you have in there.
Wasn't he connected with the Muslim movement?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the Muslim movement if you're doing it properly. He wasn't a Hasidic rabbi. He was a regular, Rav. But his forum, you know that he has a whole bunch of forum, not just the Shmir Saroshim, not just the Mishnah Brura. But his forum, like for example, one of them is called the Havas Chesed. It's a whole sefer just on different mitzvahs shebein adam l'chaverei. It's also translated in English, and his formula are very encouraging. You know, you're learning now Shmiras Haloshen, right? So he starts off in Shmiras Haloshen by pointing out how negative it is to speak Lashon Hara and how many averis, how many transgressions you're doing with Lashon Hara, right? Am I correct?
Losing the Olam Haba.
Right? But generally he's very encouraging, you know. So one more paragraph. We're going to finish with the paragraph first, okay? I know we're a little bit over time, but we started a bit late too. ומזה מובן שכאשר דברי ההוכחה אינם באופן האמור, so it's understood from all that we've said here is that when the words of rebuke are not spoken in the way that we said they should be, שנאמרים מבלי להזכיר דבר אודות התיקון בעצמו בדלת אמותיו, if the person is giving this mussar without having any mention of fixing himself, בתוכנם אינם אינו אלא בהפלגת העונש. Now all he's talking about is like letting the person know that, oh, there's such a big punishment for this and so on. כאילו שאינו נוגע לו רחמנא ליצלן וחס ושלום הצער שנמצאים כאלו העוברים על מצוות השם. If you're going and you're telling somebody, oh, you know, for this behavior you're going to get, you know, such and such treatment in Gehenna, and it doesn't hurt you, you're telling the guy, you know, for this you're going to fry, right? Does it hurt you that I'm going to fry?
No.
Well, if it doesn't hurt you, so then what business do you have giving me mussar? You don't care. You don't really care about me, right? Especially if you don't give me the mussar in a pleasant way, the Torah, the sweetness of the Torah, you're not presenting the sweetness of it all. You're not making any effort to bring me closer. So dvarim ka'ele einam klal musar avicha. Such mussar is not the mussar of your father, of somebody who loves you. Ela dvarim rachmana litzlan, they're just words. May Hashem protect us. Okay. So these are the two main conditions. Are you speaking with Ahavas Yisrael, and are you speaking with a novel, with humility? And the chiddush over here was that if you really have humility, you feel the pain of the other person too. I thought I had it shut off so that I couldn't get any phone calls. But anyway, we're finished right now. 1 minute, Yochanan. Actually, I'm going to call you back in a minute, okay? So I guess that didn't work the way I set it up. Okay. See you, Mr. Shem, tomorrow.